potentially up to of anybody that you bring into EXP.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does this mean? Well, it leverages the power of the compound effect. So the compound effect, I'll give you a nice, interesting thought experiment. If I was to give you a penny that doubles for 31 days, and you get the value of the penny on day 31, or I was to give you $500,000 in a pile of cash right now, which one would you pick?
I know this because of the whole rice on the chess square.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd take the rice.
Okay, so you take the penny?
Yeah.
Okay, what about 3 million?
I don't know what the actual dollar value amount is.
That's the key. That's the important thing is our brains are not designed to think exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 million is okay? Cash right now, here, pile of money right now?
Sure. I'll take
Sure.
5 now.
So if you took the 5 mil, you missed out on 7 million because it's around 12 million bucks if you wait till day 31. And if I do cumulative, so let's say you went and you went up to $15 million, then I'll say, what about cumulative? So meaning you add it from day 0 to day 31, then that's over $21 million. So it's either 12 or 21, and most of the action happens at the end. So it's a curve that goes like that.
Yeah.
At the beginning, nothing, 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 tiny, 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 big, big, massive. So EXP is a model that leverages the compound effect.
Yeah.
And the compound effect is a very powerful growth model, and it's synergistic in nature, meaning it allows us to work together to grow.
Right.
What does this mean? Well, okay, in a traditional brokerage, let's say you're my rock star agent, and you come and you crush it, you do well, and you wanted to go and be independent. Well, now you're competing against me. Like if you go open up another XYZ brokerage and a different team, now we're technically in competition because you're a separate franchise. I don't make anything off of you.
Right.
But now I want you to detach and grow and become a mega team. Why? Because there's a synergistic relationship that's occurring between us. So if you succeed, I succeed. So my interest is in you succeeding. Even the model is designed at tier 1, tier 2, there's a higher payout at tier 2, meaning I want you to recruit or attract, and I make more money off your attractions than my own.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting way, and the model is very sophisticated and well thought out. It wasn't just slopped together overnight. So that's the cascade revenue share. So it leverages a compound effect. What does a compound effect mean? So you've got here, in the bottom here, I give you an example, a demonstration if you may. And the demonstration allows you to think, because remember you're like, hey, I don't know what the number is. Well, we don't know what the number is. And that's the biggest opportunity loss, is that we don't know what that means, okay? Before I even get into this, there's one other element that's really interesting. So let's say you bring in an agent and it's not, and I don't have 5, I get a very small amount. I get 1%. So instead of 20% of their income that I make, I get 1% of that $16,000 that they give the brokerage, even though I don't have the qualifying number, which is 5, to unlock that tier.
Yeah.
So what EXP will say is like, listen, we'll give you a little bit, just not a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a tiny bit. Okay, you get a trickle. What does this trickle mean? Well, I'll show you what this trickle means. If you look at the bottom, let's say you bring over a span of 4 or 5 years. Okay, you do really well in real estate, you attract some attention, and in the 4 years, 4 people mentioned your name when they joined EXP, only because they like the way you operate, and they looked into EXP, and they mentioned the sponsor, they mentioned your name. You cannot join the company without mentioning a sponsor. So, a nice little way of ensuring that if you influence someone to come, attracted them,
Yeah.
you get the credit. So you bring in 4 over the last 4 years. And out of the 4, 3, they bring in 1 person each. And one of the 4s is a born rock star. He came in to do some business. So over the 4 to 5 years, he brings in the rest. So now we're at 8, okay? And again, I use Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. 6 of those guys bring in tiny amounts, 1 or 2, some 0. And the rest, the 2 others, rock stars, they bring in the rest of the 16. And then 16 becomes a 32, 32 becomes a 64, all 80-20 model, okay? 128, 256. At the end of this, you could be potentially getting up to $175,000 assuming they do what below what the average agent in this province makes, which is about $80,000. So that's assuming they do average, okay? So you could make up to $175,000 a year residual with only 4 agents in your tier 1. That's just off the residual component. Now, let's say I'll do the same scenario, but I'll change it up. So at this point, I'll use the same number. So if you look here, you still have the 8, 16, 32, okay? The only thing that's changed is, instead of just leveraging the expansion component, you went into the full-blown residual component, which is significantly higher. So over the next 4 to 5 years, you brought in 40 people in your tier 1.
Yeah.
And out of those 40, a lot of them didn't really do that much. But out of the 40, they brought you 8 on your tier 2. And those 8 brought the 16, 32, the 64, 128, 256. Again, this is all a timeline-based thing. It's like a penny thing that keeps compounding. Well, at the end of that, you could potentially have over $1.4 million a year in cascading or in revenue share, residual. So that's an important point, an important factor to keep in mind is you get to do what you do and love, and you get to also leverage an exclusive area of the business that was only open to agents who had the money to buy a franchise, and then grow their team. So EXP says, okay, we'll allow you to recruit. You don't need to buy a franchise. All you have to do is get them to mention your name and influence them. We'll take care of the rest. We'll take care of the brokerage, we'll take care of the staff, we'll take care of the office environment, we'll take care of the training, we'll take care of everything. You just make sure that they're taken care of. Okay? And there's different ways to bring in agents. You can bring in agents and forget, or you can bring in agents and nourish them and help them become the best that they can be. That's the best way to do it. That's the way I operate. Every agent that comes in is my responsibility. It doesn't have to be. You know, a lot of the top agents, they don't want to babysit, but they do want to attract. So you don't have to. I just like getting involved because I'm a people person. Right? So you've got that. So there's a potential of a very high income just off the compound effect, and you know why? Like how can they do this? Like how? Like what's going on here? So if you look at a traditional model, okay, down here, well, so far, do you have any questions?
No, I'm following along.
Okay. If you look at a traditional model, it's an expensive model. It's an archaic model. It's a dinosaur model. It's a blockbuster model, probably even worse than blockbuster. Meaning every brokerage that is not pure cloud has you at the bottom, you got the staff that they have to pay, they've got the office management that they have to pay, the operational expenses they have to pay, the leases, the electricity, the broker of record that they have to employ, and those salaries are substantial here in Ottawa. They got the franchise expenses that they have to pay. They have the franchise profits for the owners that they have to take out. Then the brand owner has to make their money, and the shareholders have to make their money. That means everybody's getting a piece of your pie. EXP reverses it. They're saying, you know what? We'll just give this all back to those that brought you into the company. So they leverage a model because their costs are so low. It's just a bunch of servers, and that's it. And a couple of support staff that are leveraged across 25,000 realtors in the world. It allows them to provide not only the sophisticated tools that we get, not only the amazing training that we get, but we also get this revenue share component that we're privy to make money off the whole attraction-based game. Well, you know, you'll be like, okay, well, I'm not really, right, I'm just, like, you know, you're not in the business for 10 years. You're not in a mode to buy a franchise for your XYZ brokerage. But I'll give you a scenario where this becomes like, so a lot of agents after 5-10 years, they do substantially well. They raise like $500,000 or save up really, you know, working really hard. They save up some money and they want to start growing their team. So they approach XYZ brokerage and they say, I'd like to open up a territory. Well, you got to go do that. That's expensive. They have to carve out territory for you. The cost of just that process can be between $50,000 to over $1 million. It depends on which territory that you want. Then you got to hire the staff, the management. You got to get the operational stuff in place. Then you have to start paying the franchise fees, and then you start building. You got to start bringing the agents in and start recruiting. So the beauty about EXP is you don't have to do any of that. That's all taken care of for you. This is very important. Because EXP is not a franchise, it's a brokerage. You get a very powerful tool to leverage. Gives you instant brand growth with no friction. Meaning, you don't have to go and figure out how you're going to recruit a broker of record in Alberta. So let's say TJ Realty Incorporated now wants to expand to Alberta. Well, now you got to go hire an Alberta broker of record and start figuring out how things work in Alberta. Well, you could, anywhere EXP operates, you can start building team members there. That's a powerful, powerful model that allows you with the frictionless, instant, almost immediate growth anywhere in North America and the UK and Australia. We just expanded there. I don't know how established it is there. Yes, so far so good.
So far so good. I'm just taking it all in. So I guess my biggest question is, because I don't know any better, it looks like a pyramid scheme. What differs between this and a multi-tier marketing system?
An excellent question. So let's keep in mind that EXP is a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
It operates internationally.
I don't think it's doing anything illegal. I just don't know enough to know whether or not this is, whether or not it's a pyramid scheme, and if it's, I'm sure it's legal. I just don't understand.
Yeah. So excellent question. So a pyramid scheme is something where someone takes money from you without giving anything in return, or you have to keep buying products from that person to continue the whole system to keep going. So with EXP, there's no products to buy. It's not like you have to buy this makeup set, this oil set, and then only after you buy this oil set can you then have other people buy that oil set, and then it has to keep going. No, it's in a regulated, established industry, doing what is acceptable in that business, which is every realtor has to have a brokerage, and that brokerage can charge a fee. So EXP charges a very competitive fee, which is 80-20 split. And what EXP is saying is that instead of this 20% going to pay the office staff, the office management, the operation, and because we're cloud-based,
keeps our costs down.
And because our costs are so low, and because it's agent owned and operated, why don't we just give it back to the agent and allow this massive growth to occur? It's a smart model. Yeah. Not only does it allow the massive growth to occur, it's doing it while empowering the agents along the process through sophisticated tools like KV Core. So, is it a pyramid scheme? Absolutely not. It's actually the opposite of a pyramid scheme. It's the upside down pyramid. Why? Because you're at the top. Everybody under you is paying you. Well, previously you're at the bottom and you're paying everybody above you.
Right. And I guess the important part is that the money that I'm being paid from the people that are below me are coming from the company's side, not their commission.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. So as far as support goes, you're saying that, like, would I notice any difference in the support system? Like, for example, how the files get processed or anything like that between that and a traditional brokerage?
Well, I don't know what type of.
So right now, what I do is I take my files and I load it onto whatever system it is. They get checked by the broker record or whoever checks them and verified, and that's sort of out of my hands. Does that still occur?
Similar model where you upload your files to Transaction Desk. So first you provide a whole digital signing system, templated. So it takes me a couple of minutes to submit an APS.
Yeah.
Assuming the property's on the MLS, just pulls the data, and then once they sign, everything's good. I upload it to Transaction Desk. Broker looks at all the files, tells me rejected or approved. If it's rejected, they tell me why. I got to go fix that mistake.
But there is there is that review, that second look
Correct.
that does occur.
Yeah, you do not get paid until your file's completely complete.
Got
And
it.
it's all digital
Got it. Well, this is-
with training. Oh, here's another interesting part. So I've got my own assistants. My assistants have avatars and have access to the full training menu available to realtors, including the transaction component. So thanks to EXP, my assistants got training into the transaction component where I can fully detach from the paperwork. That is powerful.
it is.
And detach from the lead management and generation component, where where do the leads go, how do they get processed in KV Core? Because there's every week, multiple times, there's KV Core training, and I get my staff to attend it with me.
Yep.
It's an excellent opportunity. So you're going to get, not only do you get the training, but when the time comes and you're ready to grow and go to the next level,
The training's already set up.
your team has come with you and your assistants come with you, even though they're not licensed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
As long as they're still employed with you, of course. And it's on a temporary basis, and you have to keep renewing it. I think every 3 to 6 months. I'm not sure what the time period is.
So I'm interested, but right now isn't the best time for me because I just capped 6 months ago, and so right now I'm at 90-10 for the next 6 months. So it doesn't make sense for me to move right at this second. So
How much more months do you have left?
like six. I capped last week, and my anniversary is in 6 months.
You're still paying 10% though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But if I was to switch over, I'd be paying 20.
yeah. So at this point, I could contact my management team, and we do have a program upon approval. It's not for everybody, and it has to get approved. It's not always approved. Where if you've already capped in your previous brokerage, they will allow you to carry that for up to 3 months with EXP. Now I don't recommend that because then you're just wasting 3 months. And look, from talking to you, I think for sure you're an icon agent. Like if you're doing 40, 50 deals a year, that in this kind of market where our price points, for sure, you could potentially be an icon agent. So
Do you when
you're still
your
saving at
cap-
10%.
Is your cap on the end of the year or the middle of like?
It's
which-
the anniversary date of when you join.
Oh, so if I was to join tomorrow,
Correct.
I could start working towards that new cap. Right now, it's not. There's no like expiry in 6 months.
Correct.
Because that was my big concern is that I would be even if if I wasn't able to carry over my cap, then I would be working at 80-20 instead of 90-10. But I could be working towards a new cap for the next year.
Correct.
For the next 12 months. Yeah.
Correct.
That's good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a nice bonus. I didn't even talk about stocks that much because, well, it's EXP is the fastest growing company in this business. You can go look it up. I looked them up in the stock exchange. As of the summer, when I looked this up, so in the winter, this was a while back, it grew over 3,500% in the last 5 years. That's insane growth.
Yeah.
That's just on the NASDAQ. That's public information that anyone can go look up and look up the historical stock prices from then till now. And it's the only one of the, like when I looked up, it is, all the other companies are not growing that fast.
So this does sound like a very lucrative model. What are other brokerages going to offer me? Because once again, I don't know any other brokerages. Is anyone coming close to this? Is there anything out there that's close?
The model sells itself, TJ. I don't even all I need is someone to have an open mind and their time. That's it. Because once they see this, they cannot unsee. I didn't even talk about stocks. I did the math. In 2014, I heard of EXP, but I didn't join. So I said, okay, what if an average agent joined in 2014? Okay,
What was the stock name?
I'm not sure. I think it was 35 cents a share.
Okay.
So if someone joined in 2014, oh yeah, I didn't talk to you about the stock equity program. So EXP, it's changed now. It used to be 20%. So they will give you 10% discount on stocks for up to 10% of your commission. So let's say you made $100,000, you can buy $10,000 worth of EXP stock at a 10% discount. that you can go and sell within, after I think 30 days, it depends on different regions, but you could sell, you don't have to wait for the vetted period of 3 years. You could sell pretty quickly for potential 10% boost in your income, potentially, assume the stock is the same or more than when you got it. If it goes down, then it goes down. So that's a nice bonus. So I did the math. From 2014 to 2018, if the average realtor, let's say, made 97,000 here, that's what it is in Ontario, and then I took it for every year with factors of inflation. I used Indeed.ca to get the data, and you just saved. I did the old plan. The old plan was 5% of your commission at a 20% discount. Yeah. Now it's 10% of your commission at a 10% discount. Kind of still pretty good. Yeah. You would have $316,600 of U.S. Stock value as of the dates that I arbitrarily used for these prices. Yeah. So meaning you could go sell it at that date, all your stocks, and you commute up to that date and get that value as of that date. Which is pretty impressive. My previous brokerage I was with for quite a while, I got zero. Yeah. All the recruits I brought in there, I didn't even get nothing. Like I got a thank you and a lunch.
Nice. That's
all. I had zero support. A couple of them left because they're like, what's going on here? Like, I'm getting nothing for this. But I believed in that brokerage and I liked it. But now that I'm with EXP, the only thing I regret is not joining sooner, to be completely honest with you.
Well, and I like the idea of being rewarded for hard work with money.
Yes.
Because, the pieces of paper, they're nice. If you work your butt off and you get whatever lead salesman, master salesman, blah, 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 but at the end of the day,
correct,
that needs to equate to a dollar figure, right?
Correct. So, any questions on what we've talked about today?
No, I've got to absorb this, and I think we should meet again in a little bit.
That's
after
excellent.
I've got a chance to really, and I'm going to go look at a couple of the brokerages too. And see.
Of course, yeah. I'm here if you have any questions. We do. I can invite you if you want to EXP World, where you can kind of create an avatar. It's a demo for I think 15 days.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to take a look at it.
I have a couple of videos you can watch. That way, when you're humming and hawing and thinking about it and meeting other brokerages, you can kind of review it. And I'll be following up. Is it okay if we follow up in
sure.
Next week?
Yeah, give me like a week to get through this stuff.
Sure.
Set me up on EXP World. Send me whatever documentation you have, because I'm going to do my due diligence and make sure that it's the right fit for me.
Okay.
But I do thank you for your time.
Thank you, and very nice to meet you. So at this point, I add the agent to KV Core. I then create. Just gonna check to see if it's still on. Perfect. 1 hour. Wow. Bishi, an hour. That's the fast version. So I always budget 2 hours. And I like to talk. Because the model, I like to explain it so when they leave, they understand it. And it's a slow method of growth. I'm not the whole let's invite them to a giant webinar and let's do it that way. This is the way I'm comfortable. I don't need a million agents. I'm also a relationship in-person kind of guy. Later on, I might adjust this model, but this model is excellent for any agent who's not like those big timer structured systems with the whole webinar training. Everybody invites to one location, and which again, I might switch to that, but right now this is what I feel works. It's excellent for agents that want to pick up traction. So I would add TJ to KV Core. KV Core also is for recruitment. I repeat, KV Core is for recruitment. So add them to KV Core. I put them on the drip. The drip will send them the things I just said I was going to send, like the videos. And then I'm going to personally follow up, and KV Core is going to remind me in a week with TJ saying, hey TJ, how you doing? What's happening? We're ready to meet again and hopefully team up. So add them to KV Core, follow up with them. I then go into EXP World and invite them through the enterprise to the EXP World component, so they can go and try out the avatar. They can go in there, explore the world, and kind of try that out. So do you want to add anything, TJ?
No, I don't think that I took it easy on you. I think that I asked some questions that required you to spin a bit, and that I think that's going to happen. There's no way that you can prepare for every question that someone's going to ask, but I think the key is being confident in the model and going back to the model and understanding it so that you're exuding confidence in the person that you're trying to recruit.
Yeah. And you know, I may have said some things that like your area might not have that my area does. Again, adjust to your area. And if you do make mistakes, that's okay. I have the infographic that allows the details and the accuracy to shine through. Thanks for watching, and good luck attracting.